Hello and welcome back to another devlog on Magic Life Sim and Puppeteer, my game's procedural animation system, which is also my undergrad comp sci capstone. With that deadline fast approaching, let's get to work on creating some creatures. So far, Puppeteer, I've tackled 2 of the 3 major pieces, the stockpile of common animation components to use, and the editor tooling to support the developer. In this case, that's me. What's left is to build the architecture to connect everything together. With Puppeteer, the Puppeteer component can switch all of its referenced animation components from independent mode to puppeted mode. This gets around Unity's pseudo-random way of picking which scripts get called first. You can handle this through the editor or in code, but I don't like either of those options, as now you've got to keep that in the back of your mind. And the big reason that matters is animation constraints. Depending on when a constraint is applied, we can get some very different results. I spent a large chunk of the week tidying up and updating my animation components. Part of this included switching from absolutely assigning transform data to adding only the change, the deltas of transform data. By only using additive operations, we can combine multiple animation components together. The fun part, and you guessed it, was how to handle rotation deltas. On a new frame, we'll calculate our desired rotation. Think of this like a path from point A to B. Then we'll bring in our rotation from the previous frame. If we take the inverse of this, our path is now going from B to A. With quaternions, combining is done through multiplication, so if we combine our 2 paths, we get our rotation delta. To connect everything together, we'll give each component a new interface, iPuppet. This gives the Puppeteer component a way to direct all of its assigned puppets through the apply function. Oh, and here's something fun. The Puppeteer component also implements the iPuppet interface, which means we can have recursive puppeteers. This may or may not be useful, but we'll find out later on when we're making creatures. And we're just about there. We've got to talk about AI, or well, I'm just going to call it behavior since the word AI is used far too much. Anyways, we've got to talk about behavior. A great way to implement behavior is through finite state machines. Depending on which state is active, we can change our entity's behavior accordingly. For a solid system, we've got 3 big requirements. An abstract state class with overridable functions like update and fixed update. An abstract state machine class that can call these functions while handling which state is active. And 3, a trigger system that allows a state to initiate a transition to the state machine without ever knowing the details of the new state. This is actually the first time getting to use finite state machines with code, so the first couple attempts are gonna be on the messier side. I started off by making a jelly shroom that camouflages itself as a mushroom. Now, for the moment of truth for my capstone, let's add Puppeteer to our jelly shroom. And we're gonna do it without the 2 systems' code ever knowing about each other. To do that, we'll use my watchable system to expose variables in the editor to hook up all of our puppets. As an example, we'll take the squash and stretch of the jelly shroom in the chasing state. At the start of the chase, there should be some squash to telegraph the movement, and then a stretch for exaggeration. As it slows to a stop, we'll ease up on that stretch, but to have finer control, we'll use an animation curve. With watchables, we'll expose the evaluated variable so that the squash and stretcher can watch and act on that value. But what's really cool is you can animate a boolean changing from true to false, because between the boolean and the animation is a variable smoothing transitioning from 0 to 1. So, which booleans of the jelly shroom brain are we gonna drive? We'll be driving the ones that expose whether or not the state is active. What this gives us is the ability to blend multiple puppeteers together. In each case, each state has its own Puppeteer component. Just like jellyfish, they're not too bright. Get too close and they'll pop up out of camouflage to chase you, even if they can't do much to you right now. Walk far enough away and we'll settle back down to that idle state. I'm really curious if this is going to scale nicely, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. But to actually figure out, we're going to have to make some more creatures. With most of this work being front-loaded, I'm confident that more creatures will be on the way at a faster pace. And this was a little on the short side for devlogs, but last week I had some bad food, and what was gonna be an intense work day turned into an easy day, and then turned into me catching up for the rest of the week. And I also had midterms going on, so yeah, there's a lot happening, but I'm feeling a lot better now. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, thank you for the kind comments on the previous videos. I can't wait to show you guys a lot of the things I've got planned, and in the meantime, I hope you guys have a nice rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next one.